afternoon, remade to vintagers. How you doing, remade to vintagers? I've just had a chew over my teeth there, so you'll be all right. I'm through that now. People ask questions. Obviously, they see me on the YouTube and on Facebook more and more now, and they're stopping me in the street. Oh no, that's the police, isn't it? There. But they're always asking questions like, "How did you get involved in antiques and selling?" Now therein lies the story. Are you ready? Are you sitting down? Are you comfortable? Then I'll begin. Many years ago, going back to the year dot when I was but about, what, 10, I should imagine, I went one day for an adventure across the parkland and the woods and things wherever, down by Brandall. And I went across the golf course, which was there then and still working. I was using it and going through, playing the games and such. And I walked over to where the Asoldo cinema is, Quinton. Old cinema, it's still there now. I think it's called the Reels or something like that. Anyway, I walked across the land and there wasn't any M5 there then. That shows how far back it was. So I walked through the farmland there. And I think I'd got a mate with me, not too sure, because my imagination could be my mate, because I used to talk to myself quite a lot. Anyway, I walked back and I went across a different way, and there was this great big old pond, massive old overrun pond. And I looked into this pond, and there, amongst the water and the weeds, was this frog spawn. And I thought, wow, that's interesting, the frog spawn. And they was just turning into little frogs with the tails, and I thought I'd better pick some of that up and take it home. I've got a little sink, a crock sink in the garden. We used to keep them in the garden, which saves washing up, you know, you can just throw them in the sink in the garden and leave them. But I went and I thought, I've got to get them, can I get them? And I spied in the corner a broken bucket. We've got a piece missing out or rusted out. So I scooped it into this frog spawn, and it was a sunny day, I remember, really hot. And then I picked it up, and boy, did they smell. They was really reeking. So I picked them up, and I started to walk. And I had to walk for miles and miles. And it splashed all over me. I was covered from head to toe in the smelliest frog spawn that you ever smelt. And I ended up going into our house. Well, I didn't go into the house because our mum wouldn't let me with this, didn't they? But I found this Belfast sink in the back garden, and I poured it in and then added some more water out of the drain bosh, swash them up. So next morning I got up and I got out of bed and I had to go up to school. So I thought I'd take some of them to school with me in a jam jar. So I put a jam jar in and I took some of them up to the school, showing the kids at school, and they said, one lad said, "Kiss one of them." And I said, "Bugger off, I ain't letting you have one." Anyway, he said, "I'll give you a penny." Well, a penny? I'd got millions of the things down the house. Suddenly lights and bells went off in my head. I thought, sweet shops, here I come all the way up and down the town, down Broad Street in Birmingham. I'll be going over there and getting penny of this and penny of that. So I'd get him the tadpole, and he gave me a penny, and I couldn't believe it. Anyway, I shot home to count my fortune in the Belfast sink, because I knew there was thousands on them there. And I got in the garden, and I looked, and I was in this milky kind of water, and I thought, oh, they're all on the bellies, what's the matter with them? So I went and asked my mum, I said, "What's happening to me fortune out there, like sort of thing, me frogs and whatever?" I said, "Oh, they were smelling, so I put a bit of bleach in them." I thought, "Put bleach in with frogs?" I said, "Them all dead." I stamped my foot, but then she gave me a cog winder. She said, "Oh, you'll come stamping your feet round here, my lad. And you know what a cog winder is?" Well, if you've had one, you'd certainly know what it was. It was a slap from the back of Bill's mother's. He used to reach her hand over her shoulder and year one. I'll tell you what, Mike Tyson wouldn't have took it. And they give you this, and your head was halfway around the other side of your head, like your neck. So I went out and I looked at the frogs, and I thought, that's it, my entrepreneurial skills have finished. I'm over the finish there. But then other things come along, because the bell had been lit, the candle had been lit, the light had been lit. It had gone off in my head, I've got to find other things. So I used to go out and get bikes and make them up, sort of a thing. And then I found I could sell all sorts of different things. And I used to sell old bits of furniture and old bits of stuff. Out the house, our mum often wondered where things went, but I was taking chairs out of the day now, because I don't sit down very often, always busy. So I'd take them out and put them up the garden and sell them to people. But then I was saying to my mate, I went back up to the school, and this lad says to me, he said, "Well, where's them frogs? I know you promised them." And I said, "Oh, well, they've gone in there. He said, well, you promised him you've had a penny off that bloke on Leo, but he said, if you don't give him that frog, he said, he's promised to lick you. And I said, well, he could, what you on about, lick me? It's a sad thing to want to do. He says, well, he's the cock of the school. I said, I don't know what he is. He said, he can lick you. And I said, well, if you don't lick, he said, if you don't, he don't lick you, you better lick him. I said, well, where's all this licking coming from? I said, I don't want to lick nobody. I said, has he got a special tongue or something? I said, the only thing I'm letting lick is ice cream. He says, don't be so soft. He says, he's going to come and sort your head and lick it into shape. But I don't want to be licked into shape. I don't know where this expression's come from, all this licking lark. He said, well, he does. He said, he'll go into school tonight and he'll lick the living daylights out on you. I said, well, it's a bloody good job I had a wash then, because he'd be smelly, wouldn't he? He'd have a bloody mouthful of dirt. Anyway, I just thought I couldn't get over that licking lark. But it was all the rage at one stage. You'd go and lick your mate, you'd fall out, you'd lick the kid up the road. Everybody licked everybody in them days when they went past. And it was just a weird thing to do, to go and lick somebody. But it meant you knocked 7 bells of shit out of them. And I didn't know that at first. I just thought it was a weird sort of black country sort of habit that I was just learning about. You've got to go and lick your mate. So anyway, that sort of story come to an end, like through a thing, when I tried to lick one of the lads, and he said, what you think's the matter with you? He says, you saft or something? Because I got my tongue on his cheek. And I said, look, I'm just licking you. And he said, look, if you want to lick, I'll tell you how to lick somebody. I said, I'll black your bleeding eyes. He says, you look at me like that. And I said, oh, okay, fair enough. I'll stop that licking lark straight away. And so he's beating up from then on. He'll beat you up. I said, okay, yeah, he'll beat me up. Not licking then. I said, no licking, just beating up. I said, I understand that one. But anyway, remade to vintages. It's a bit of a ramble, that one, but I just thought I'd get it out. That's how I started buying and selling on frogs. Dead frogs. It's a pity you couldn't taxidermy them, because I'd have made a few quid on taxiderming frog fingers. I can't say because frog fingers is rather a thing to say. But if you come up here to remade to vintage, Unit 15, Rowland Way, Kidderminster, Who Farm Industrial Estate, Kidderminster, and it's, let me think, DY11 7RA, DY11 7RA. You can come up and have a look and a chat and a mooch, because we've got loads of stuff. We might have the odd tadpole hidden away somewhere, we don't know. I might get a jam jar full of them. But we've got all sorts of interesting stuff. All these books have come in at the moment, like through a thing, firearms, guns, catalogues, all about the firearms and the guns across the centuries. Yeah, I don't think there's a selection in there of catapults, but we could put one in. But anyway, remade to vintages. I'm just going to give a shout out to a friend of mine and a good dealer, and she could do with somebody to go around and say hello. Oh, I was looking at that one there, but he ain't got a phone. Oh, here it is. Her name is Sarah Hartman, and it's Ting's Trove Emporium, Saltway, Worcester, B966JR. B966JR. She's only open on weekends, Saturday and Sunday, from 10 till 4. But go and have a look. In the meantime, peace, and I'll see you next one. Take care.